Well, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Spoilers. Man, it was a long night, but I actually managed to get into an advanced screening of Justice League, and my review's up. I waited for the embargo to lift, so my review's up. I do give it a fresh rating. You can check out my review at my blog, flicksfrog.wordpress.com. But let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's get into the spoilers for Justice League. Now, overall, I enjoyed the film. It was fun. I think in my rankings for the DCEU, my personal rankings, of course, I'm going to still put Man of Steel at number 1. And then Batman v Superman at number 2. Justice League is going to be my number 3. Suicide Squad is number 4, and Wonder Woman is 5. And of course, if you want to know why they're ranked, the rest of the movies are ranked where they are, just feel free leave a comment below. Leave me an email at contactflicksfrog.com, contactflicksfrog@gmail.com. My apologies, and I'll go into further detail if you wish. But good things about this movie: team dynamic, great. Seeing all of the team come together, it was just some of the best moments in the film. Everybody had great chemistry. There was good comedy. There was good action. The best, I would say, in the film, there is a scene where they're about to go into the final battle, and Aquaman's just laying it all out, telling him, he's like, look, I don't trust you. I don't like you. You're beautiful. And he starts going into more detail about himself than he should. And Batman's like, hey. And Aquaman's like, and he realized he's sitting on Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. And it was one of the most hilarious scenes in the film. The big elephant in the room: Superman died in Batman v Superman. How does he come back? Well, in the film, they used the mother box, the one mother box that they have to actually bring Superman back to life. And it works so well. It is great. There is no black suit. I know Henry Cavill teased the black suit. There is no black suit at all. But when he comes back, it is great. I mean, like, they're all... He's back. He's confused. I mean, he's been dead for so many months or a year at least. Who knows? And I'll get into the whole timeline and fudging stuff in a bit. But he's back. He's confused. He doesn't really recognize any of the people he sees. He recognizes Batman, and he does not like Batman. But they're all trying to calm him down. They're fighting him. And of course, he's Superman. He's stronger than every one of them. And there's even a funny scene, the Flash, he's like, well, you know, I'm fast. I can just run around Superman and push him like I do with everybody else. So he runs really fast. And Superman, he's like choking Aquaman, choking Wonder Woman, Cyborg's trying to hold him down but really can't. And like as Flash is running, Superman's just like, I see you. Like, I'm fast too. And it's like, and Flash is like, oh shit. So, and then Superman, of course, throws them and starts going after the Flash. And there's like this mini battle in super speed that is hilarious. And of course, the Flash has to do this whole Flash thing and push Superman. But of course, he just ends up pushing himself off. And the thing about the super speed, it was good. Like, also, Wonder Woman uses super speed in this film. Of course, Superman and Flash, they all have varying degrees of super speed. Flash, Superman seem to be slightly more equal than Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman is pretty fast. But they show it mostly in slow motion, and there's a lot of slow motion in this film, but they show the super speed in slow motion. And I kind of wish they would come out and let us see it how, like, a person on the outside would see it, like they did with Feora in Man of Steel. More of that quick movement with the slow motion would have helped. Because like, every time we saw the Flash move, not every time, most of the time we saw the Flash and Superman moves really fast, it was slow. But there were some where you just see them move really fast, and I wanted more of that. Some of the issues with the film, well, one of my main issues, the film is too short. It was mandated to be at 2 hours by one of the CEOs at Warner Brothers. They should have had it at least 215, 230, because they cut out a lot of the fluff in this movie that was necessary. And just quickly, here are all the scenes from all the trailers that didn't make it into the movie.
I'll take that as a yes.
What?
The ring.
The others. Where are they?
He's a cyborg.
You should probably move.
Building an alliance to defend us.
He said he'll fight with us?
More or less.
More or more less?
Probably more or less.
He said no.
He said no. I heard about you. Didn't think you were real.
I'm real when it's useful. You're Kryptonian.
You said you'd come. Now let's hope you're not too late.
So yeah, you can tell that's quite a lot, and some of it definitely would have been better if they fit it in there somehow. Could, of course, some of the scenes changed. I actually have a list of, I think, some of the scenes that changed. When Batman meets Aquaman for the first time, that scene has changed a little. He doesn't really mention the King Tide that Aquaman comes in on. Aquaman, when he's fighting, he does, in the sky, throws his trident and, rides him down. Woo, yeehaw! That happens. But there's another scene where he spears the two. Doesn't happen at all. That whole final battle is kind of cut down just a teensy bit. One of my issues with Man of Steel when I first saw it was that there's no real Superman moment. He's not Superman in this movie. It's a great film and the best Superman movie we've had, but there's no real Superman moment. Superman moment in this film is great, and it's small, but it's great. When they're fighting Steppenwolf, Superman uses his ice breath. And I was like, oh, ice breath, that is so cool. He's never used that power before. I mean, not like he didn't have it, but we never saw him use that before in this new film universe. So maybe it's the DCEU, we really don't know. That's not official, apparently. But what else was good? Post-credit scenes. Great post-credit scenes. The first one is a race between Superman and the Flash, which is just meant for comedy. It plays very well. It looks like one of the newer ones they filmed to put it in there. It's cute. The last one, ooh. Lex Luthor's out of prison, or Arkham. He's out of Arkham. We don't know how he got out, but he's out and he's living a luxurious life. For a lot of people who didn't like Jesse Eisenberg, personally I did. I thought, like Superman, he wasn't the Lex Luthor we know from the comics yet. He was growing into that character. In this one, he's more along those lines. He's very suave and debonair. He's still that same Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor, but he's not cuckoo anymore. He's still insane, like he's super smart and he's evil, but he's less quirky. And in the final credit scene, he's on his yacht, has two powerful women behind him, and he's talking to Slade Wilson. Deathstroke shows up, and he's basically like, hey, so Superman's back, they have this league, all these superpowered people, we should have our own league as well. And of course, the implication of that is that he's trying to start the Legion of Doom. And who's going to be in that? We don't know. Clearly, he wants Slade Wilson to join. We know Black Manta's going to be in the Aquaman movie. Dr. Sivano, I think, is going to be in Shazam. But those are the only movies really planned right now. So we'll see where they go with the Legion of Doom. which is kind of strange. It'll give you 3 teams. You'll have the Justice League, you'll have the Legion of Doom, and you'll have Amanda Waller and her Suicide Squad. So it's almost like the 2 sets of Avengers teams and then the Revengers from Thor. Which, and speaking of Thor, Ragnarok, like again, I like the movie. It was very comedy heavy. This movie, for me, compares to that. It should have been darker than it was. A lot of people were talking, the tone of the DCU is too dark. These movies are too gritty. I really enjoyed that aspect of those previous films. This film could have used a lot more of that. And if they balanced it with the comedy, it would have probably been perfect. Of course, in the longer runtime. There were a lot of heavy moments that are kind of glossed over that could have used more of that darkness that Zack Snyder does so well. And unfortunate events happened to him. He had to leave the film. And, they brought in Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon, of course, his touches all throughout this film. He did a good job. But I do think there could have been more cohesion between the two of them. Not in actually the way it moves along. I mean, it looks like it's done by one person. But in terms of the scenes that they decided to keep in the movie. The plot is very thin. It's basically Steppenwolf shows up. They have to stop him. Like, he gets these mother boxes, which the history of these mother boxes, we don't know. And speaking of Flash, talking about Luthor apparently had like a bunch of notes on the mother boxes, which I don't know when he had time to write those in the events of Batman v Superman, unless he wrote them in Arkham and Batman just went in and stole them from him. But like, he shows up. There's a mother box. Of course, Cyborg has one. Atlantis has one, and the Amazons have one. And that's it. He shows up, takes them. They fight in, and that's it. But great that he's not dead. He failed. Apparently, and this is his second time trying to invade Earth. And the second time he's failed, he's called back to Apocalypse once again. And it's mentioned in the past that since he lost the first time, he's been in exile. And I guess that just means he's not allowed to return to Apocalypse, maybe. But clearly he's been out doing stuff in the universe before. And he comes back when the mother boxes call him. And in the weirdest way, he calls them mother. And, not Jennifer Lawrence's mother. But it's almost as creepy as that. He's like, oh, mother, I've missed you. And it's so weird. It's so weird. But Ciarán Hinds does a great job voicing him. But, oh, man, this character is so weird. And he's clearly strong, but you don't really get evidence of that. Like, he lays siege to the Amazons. But I would figure he'd be a little more of a match for Superman. But he's no match at all for Superman. Superman shows up and wipes him out. It's crazy. Like, I would have liked for him to be... He was an equal match with Wonder Woman, kind of. Or slightly stronger than Wonder Woman. But Superman just outclasses him altogether. So, I guess that does prove why they didn't want to battle with Kryptonians, at least around the Yellow Sun. But there's that. Back to the thin plot. The backstory about Steppenwolf, I wanted a little more of that. You see the first time he invaded Earth, and he's battling all these forces, and he's trying to do the terraforming thing, which they showed in the trailers. And he loses, but you get cool cameos from Zeus, Artemis, Wonder Woman's mom and her aunt are there. King Atlan, which they say is King Atlan, but it looks like Poseidon. And I think it would have been better if they said he was Poseidon, and Poseidon started the Amazonian, not Amazonians. Poseidon started the Atlanteans down there, but that was pretty cool. No Ares though, which I thought was a little weird, considering this would have been before Ares killed all the gods. Hopefully they're all dead, but this would have been before that. And he wasn't there. Considering he's a god of war and they were fighting a war, he should have been at his strongest. So, he should have been there, most definitely. A character that does show up in that prequel is a Green Lantern. And that took the whole theater. We're like, oh, snap, a Green Lantern is not Hal. Of course, it's like 5,000 years ago. It's not John. It's not either of them. And it's not even, what is the Abin Sur? It's not Abin Sur. It is just some random lantern. He's fighting Steppenwolf, and he gets slaughtered pretty fast, which is like, really? Really? Do we have to show the lantern die? But he dies, and his ring does a little zip, 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 and goes off to find a new worthy person. The side characters, they were pretty great. J.K. Simmons was really good as Gordon. I can't wait to see more of him in the solo Batman film with Matt Reeves. Hopefully Ben Affleck returns for that. Diane Lane was great as Martha. Amy Adams was great as Lois. Lois played more of a role in the film than the other two, but of course, there were characters you mentioned. Kiersey Clemens, who was supposed to be Iris. She's not in it. Neither is Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White. I really feel they could have fit those characters in there in small cameos, especially Perry, because they were at the Daily Planet. Like, him popping his head in, I don't see an issue with him not making an appearance. So, I don't see an issue with him making an appearance. So, that was a little weird. But still, the scenes with Amy Adams and Diane Lane were so sweet. It was really cute. And even funny. They threw in some comedy with them. It worked out well. The CG in the film wasn't the best, and that kind of sucks. I don't know why it wasn't the best. They really should have focused on cleaning that up. Not to say it's awful. It is on par with the CG we got in the first Avengers movie, which is like 10 years ago now. So it's not terrible, but it could have been better. They should have put in a lot of effort in cleaning that up. Overall, for people who didn't like the dark tone in the DCEU and they wanted it to be more like Marvel, congratulations, you win. Because Justice League is basically the Avengers. It is happy, fun, campy, good time. It has Batman, a Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Aquaman instead of, the other Avengers. It is basically a Marvel movie at this point. Weak villain, a lot of jokes, and hopefully by the time the next movie comes around, they take that, put in a bit more of that Zack Snyder flavor, and they can have their own thing. Wonder Woman kind of did that, but it had its own issues as well. So this is even further away than Wonder Woman was. So the dark tone, they should get a little more of that back. And of course, it depends on the movie. Shazam definitely needs to be a lighter tone movie. Aquaman, I feel, should be slightly darker, but it can be lighter. Flashpoint should be a dark movie. If you've read the comics, you know a lot of people die. So that's great. Superman, his attitude has definitely changed. I'm sure people will like that. After being dead for a year, you're like, I don't want to do that again. So overall, I would recommend going to watch Justice League. I'm actually going to go see it again on Friday when it's released worldwide. Check it out with my wife. Is there anything else worth mentioning? Oh, yes. Here's the thing. Remember in Batman v Superman, Batman was badass. And that warehouse fight scene, let's just play a snippet of that warehouse fight scene. Now, you know how awesome that was? Batman is nowhere near that awesome in this movie. He's still awesome. He has like a few good scenes of him doing battle. But mostly he's kind of a leader, tactician, staying behind, kind of like he was in that final fight with Doomsday. And I wanted more. Like, he clearly can grapple with these paratroopers, parademons. They are stronger than him, but his skills makes him able to fight them. And there should have been a good scene of him taking a lot of them out with his combat skills, but there really wasn't. It was more like quick jumping. So I would have loved more of Ben Affleck fighting. And hopefully we get more of that in the solo Batman film. Hopefully Ben Affleck's still around. If Ben Affleck is gone, I will miss him. He's been the best Batman ever. But there's only one logical choice for recasting if they recast and that is Jon Hamm. I mean, Jon Hamm looks enough like Ben Affleck. They have the similar build. They have that beard thing going. It could work if they recast. If not, they may just bring in someone else like Dick Grayson to take on the mantle, or maybe they do it Under the Red Hood story and Jason Todd comes in and takes on the mantle afterwards. But thank you for tuning into this spoilery review for Justice League. Please like, comment, subscribe on this video, share it to your page. I'll be putting up another one. The next one we are doing should be Star Wars The Last Jedi. Check out the blog, check out the Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, we're there. Have a great day.